What's going on, everybody? It's Over the Ropes. I'm Tyler.
I'm Cortland. Good Saturday morning to you.
What is up, everybody? We got your SmackDown review. Happy SmackDown Day today. And you know what? I feel like it's Happy SmackDown Day because at least we had a good SmackDown.
Much better than last week, I would
Much
say.
better than last week. Yes.
I cruised through this show.
Yeah, I feel like we're still have this issue where it's like build, 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 but nothing's announced. Uh, like we still didn't get any more WrestleMania matches announced.
None.
None. Some good build, but no actual matches announced. So it's like, okay, when are we gonna get on the ball with this? I feel like it's kind of one of my biggest gripes right now.
Yep.
But yeah, much better. I feel like the show kind of flew by.
Yep.
And man, let's just jump right. You know what? Yeah, let's just jump into it because I do
Let's
have some
get
strong
into it.
opinions about some things. So the show starts off. Cody Rhodes coming out tells us he'll face John Cena on Monday Night Raw. Which, boy, this better not be a repeat of the last two interactions.
Yeah. And I think they've booked it as the last face-to-face until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So this is the last time we're going to see him. But if we get the same exact thing, and I agree, I'll be a little pulling my hair out.
Cena's heel run is not starting off.
I want to keep them as far apart as possible. Like, I would have been cool if Cody did a promo tonight, Cena did one on Raw. I want to keep that suspense,
Or just do something different. They had this issue with Roman Cody 1, where they both came out, did promos, did it kind of the same promo over and over, and it made the build kind of crappy.
Yep.
Randy's music hits.
Let's go.
And boy, that crowd loved them some Randy Orton, huh? Holy
yes,
shit.
sir.
Even when Randy's music stopped, they continued singing.
Oh, for a long time.
Randy
that was awesome.
on Cody breaking into the business. He wasn't exactly happy. Or talks about how Cody wasn't always happy, and he was frustrated, so he left. And he said that took some big ass balls.
Yep.
And he said Cody changed the business, and Cody knows Randy appreciates that. The industry has changed since Cody has returned.
Yep.
He asked if we remember Cody versus Seth in Hell in a Cell. Impressive, impossible. Cody fighting with the torn pec. Cody stuck it out for the people. Then he finished the story. But there's always another story.
Always another.
Always another. Business is up. Randy says that it's 99.9% because of Cody.
Man, talk about giving someone their flowers. Oof.
Right. I mean, these two, you can tell truly, love each other like brothers,
Yep.
Randy says he respects Cody. He loves him. He's very proud of him. But now it's time for WrestleMania. Cody and Randy can't wait to kick Kevin Owens' head off. And for Cody to beat Cena all the way down the Vegas Strip. But after the dust settles, there comes a time when Randy wants number 15. And that crowd was like, oh, shit.
I've been waiting for that.
Uh-huh. He says he's not going to kick Cody in the balls like a coward. He's going to look Cody in the eye and tell him he's coming for the gold. And out comes Drew McIntyre. Oh. Not a way I thought we were going to start this SmackDown, but I really enjoyed this segment.
I knew after a while, when Randy got all sentimental, someone had to break up the love fest.
Uh-huh.
But I wasn't banking on Drew, but it was neat. I liked it.
Drew comes out and says, look at this, a couple Nepo babies having a love fest in the middle of the ring. Drew asks what Randy has done to earn a title match. All he can remember is Randy being on the shelf. He tells Randy to get his ass to the back of the line. He says Cody should have listened to him about Cena. He says WrestleMania main event should be Cody Rhodes versus UK's only world champion,
That is
Drew
correct.
McIntyre. But it's not because of that guy liner wearing Timu Undertaker. Man,
What a line.
he threw out the gay Undertaker that people talk about online.
And it was trending.
Oh, man. Drew says it's going to be him that takes the title off Cody. Randy says they were trying to have a moment, so cut the bullshit. Drew says KO might have a point. The voices know Drew pretty well. Randy looks great on the outside, but he knows Randy's back is hanging on by a thread. As for Cody, because by this time Drew had gotten into the ring. And Cody just kicks Drew, drops down, hits the uppercut. And Randy goes for the RKO, and Drew gets the hell out of there. What a good way to start SmackDown, man. I like the interaction with Cody and Randy. I love Drew being the one to come out there because he's not in a story with either one of them, but it also goes with all their stories.
Exactly. That's why I enjoyed it. I feel like we've kind of segued from where we were, and we're getting like, okay, I'm only focused on one person, kind of how it used to be. This took us back to the interweaving of feuds where it felt like Drew McIntyre was feuding with like 4 or 5 different guys.
Yep.
Same with Seth Rollins, same with Punk. This had that feeling, and I feel like this was the first time we started to really plant seeds for after WrestleMania, and I was so here for it.
Yep.
And hearing Randy talk about 15, let's fucking go, brother.
Yeah, that was great. Great segment. We get Randy versus Drew made for later on in the night, which, again, not a match I was expecting on Random SmackDown.
No, that's a massive match.
Here for it, for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And this takes us to our first match of the night. We get some hometown love. The Pretty Deadly challenge for the WWE Tag Team Champions. They're up against the Street Profits. Pretty Deadly looked good to start. I was very, very, very curious. How is this crowd going to react? Because obviously they're generally, notoriously the heels wherever they go. But being in your home city, I was a little disappointed. I was hoping for more out of that crowd. Because even I've come around on Pretty Deadly. I was ecstatic. So they go for that, I don't know what they're calling it. It's kind of like the Heart Attack Blockbuster. The Street Profits were going for that. Kit Wilson escapes out the back door, pushes Dawkins into Ford, crotches him on the turnbuckle. Kit Wilson looked awesome in this match. He hits that Kyle O'Reilly rebound lariat. I absolutely love that move. That's one of my favorites. They hit that assisted code breaker. It sounds like they named it the catapult. At least that's what they called it during this show.
Yeah.
Montez Ford goes for the frog splash on Elton Prince. I loved this. Kit rolls in, rolls him out of the way. He eats the frog splash.
Yeah.
And then Elton Prince gets back in. He rolls Ford up in the crucifix for 2. Man, the roof would have blown off that place.
Yeah.
If that ended the match.
Yep.
A little bit after this, each man kind of takes a corner, and it had like big match vibes. They all run at each other. Pretty Deadly hits a spear and a leaping elbow. Crazy. I loved that spot.
Yep.
They hit the spilt milk. Montez breaks it up at 2. They go for the catapult again, but Dawkins is ready this time. They go for the Heart Attack Blockbuster again. They get it. They get the win, and still WWE Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, this match was all right. I've always loved Pretty Deadly. I love erratic, like kind of out there characters, and obviously they are the most erratic out there characters. I thought the match was fine. I feel like both teams can have better matches, but it wasn't bad. I think we're both big fans of the Street Profits being tag team champions, so
well deserved. Overdue.
Well, I can't believe. I mean, we talked about this when they won it, but I can't believe they've only had those tag titles twice.
Yeah.
And
so here's the thing.
4 years in between, like Jesus.
I was there when they won the NXT championships.
Okay.
I think it was in Bridgeport, Connecticut. It was at that NXT 25, I believe. It was in like a 3 or 4 way match. It was awesome. Undisputed Era was in it.
Teams?
Undisputed Era for sure, and I feel like Matt Riddle was on a team with like Pete Dunne, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Not positive on that one.
Broserweights or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they won that, and I feel like the end of their NXT reign was very gold heavy. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they came up, they like kept that momentum.
Yep.
And so it was like very concentrated, and then bam, 4 years of, and I can't believe it's been 4 years.
Nuts. Do you remember which members of Undisputed Era was?
Definitely O'Reilly, because he had that crazy spot where someone like knocked him off the ladder a little bit. I don't think this is actually supposed to happen, but he hits his chin off pretty much every rung and just fucks his face up. I think it was him and Roddy. If I recall. Yeah, but that was the night all of them fought because Undisputed Era... No, it was Fish because Roddy was in a North American title match. And then Cole fought, and that's the night Cole got wrapped to the ring because every match had Undisputed music pretty much, and they had to change it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like O'Reilly better with Fish just because I like Roddy by himself. And Fish by himself does nothing for me, so... But yeah, man, God, I miss Undisputed Era.
Oh my God. They're up here on the wall behind me somewhere.
I see Adam Cole right there in the middle, right?
Yep, Cole's in the middle, right here.
Yeah.
And that's Undisputed Era, and they all signed it.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. The Forgotten Sons, Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler.
Wow.
And the Street Profits, yep. Awesome. All right, back to SmackDown.
Yeah.
We get a video package. Haven't seen these two in a while. We had Caden Carter and Katana Chance out back. They're talking with Zelina Vega. The Secret Service walk in, man. They do their normal antics. Zelina calls them the bootleg Men in Black. Zelina's like, look, I know I'm small, but I'd call myself a pretty big threat for that U.S. Women's Championship. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken all three of you to beat me. So this sets up a tag team match, which we get next.
Secret Service, man, dude, you could have told me Katie and Katana got released, and I would not have even argued with you about it. I completely forgot about them.
They have not been on TV since December. They had qualifiers for the Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. Both lost, and then they were on an episode of NXT mid-December. Haven't seen them since.
Yeah. Love Zelina. Get her on TV as much as possible. So we come back from commercial. We see Roman and Paul Heyman arrive in the arena. Then we get match number 2. The Party Girls versus the Secret Service. I love their new attire.
I can't believe they wrestled it.
That was
so awesome.
Terrible to wrestle in, but great visually.
Yep.
Elbow Fire.
I would agree.
Elbow Fire did the pat down to the ref again.
Thank God she's coming out of her shell. Because she's a great fucking wrestler, man.
Uh-huh.
She's really good.
Dude, I think I just blanked when you were talking about them walking in the room with Zelina. But that was so disrespectful. Piper was like, yeah, we got a small threat that we've already utilized or neutralized.
Minus threat neutralized.
Yeah.
I should have put that in, but I was hauling ass.
So disrespectful.
Yep.
How dare her. And this match was cool. You saw, Katie and Katana kind of had their moveset, and they kind of stick to it. But Piper jumping over the top rope. That's what
hey, man, she got there.
That's what I would look like trying to jump over the top rope.
No, you'd still be there.
She gets over and then hits a huge ass senton onto all the girls. We come back, with Piper breaking a pin up. Senton's an elbow fire.
Oopsies.
Huh?
I said oopsies.
Yeah.
When they fire.
Yeah. Caden hits a Samoan drop on Piper. Jesus. Holy shit.
He's so small.
big props.
Yep.
And then we get the keg stand. And gets the 2 for the party girls. What a name. What a name. Piper tosses Kaden into Katana, knocking her off the apron, and then hits the Piper driver for the win for the Secret Herbis.
Yep.
After Zelina, they start... Oh, do you remember who they were beating on?
Yeah, they were beating down...
Both of them?
I think both, yeah.
I think they were beating on both of them. Zelina's music hits. She comes hauling ass to the ring. Tags out Alba on her way. Hits a tornado DDT on Piper. Chelsea blindsides Zelina. Goes for the prettier, but Zelina reverses it. Hits the code red.
Goes for the code red.
Or goes for a code red. Alba hits the super kick, and Piper hits the senton. Zelina laid out flat. And you know what I just realized before we go any further? How'd you feel about the new ring announcer?
I noticed it right away.
Can't do bad.
I think he was fine. I think I don't know why. I feel like I always think the woman sounded a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I'm really starting to watch. I can't remember her name. I feel like her last name is Taylor. She's the one who's picked up a lot of the work since Samantha left. She was ring announcing. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was ring announcing when I was at my live event, and my God, she is so nice. So where she sat in between the matches, she was like right next to us, so we could talk to her. She was awesome. So I just like,
is that it?
Yeah, that sounds right. So I just like her. I think that helps that a lot. But I also really like the guy from NXT.
Oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, I like this guy. My only thing, I get my back up a little bit when it's like kind of Joe Tessitore. Somebody comes in from a different sport.
Yep.
Somebody like Corey Graves down to NXT or something like that. Where I'm like, But I think overall he did. It was noticeable in a good way immediately.
Yep.
He wasn't bad. I do really like the guy in NXT too, though. I don't remember.
I think he'll only learn, wrestling a little bit more too. But yeah, I think he sounded great and he did great.
Yeah.
After this, we get the United States Championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get Braun Strowman versus his buddy LA Knight. Honestly, not a ton happened in the match. This is one of those where it's more about the after the match. Mm-hmm. Braun had some control early. Props to LA Knight. He got the big man up in a back suplex. How about the smaller people hitting these power moves, man?
Yeah, man.
I don't know how Caden Carter did that. LA Knight gets this move in. They both end up outside of the ring at some point. LA Knight's kind of by the announce table. Strowman goes for the Strowman Express. And man, out of nowhere, Jacob Fatu just takes him out with that
comes out of nowhere.
He does this kind of like a crossbody, but he's always got his forearms in there, man. Yeah. He is a wildcat. Fatu hits the Samoan drop onto the announce table. I thought for sure this was the first time it was breaking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too.
Brutal. Jacob beats down Strowman until LA Knight gets back involved, and then Fatu hits a pop-up Samoan drop on him. Fatu just cleans house, man. He keeps hitting those hip attacks on Strowman, and my lord. So he's the one standing tall after this. I don't think he can beat the horse dead anymore. This is going to be a multi-man United States Championship match. And we're going to elaborate on that in a little bit.
I think the question is how many,
Yep. I still think we could get 6 out of it, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like if either one...
We're getting at least 4.
If either one of them are going to have a more... or 6-ish, it's going to be this one. Where I feel like the IC title might stick to 4. Yeah, I think we're on the same page.
Same page.
Yeah.
Yep. So after this, we get a little recap of the slap heard around the world. Yeah, man, Jimmy Uso slapped the shit out of Gunther.
Slapped the shit out that boy.
And I like how Jackie Redmond introduces this. She's like, I knew we were on a global tour this month. I didn't know we were getting the slap heard around the world, though.
Yeah.
And Jimmy's like, hey, man, I would do it again. And he's going to keep on smacking Gunther around if he needs to. He acknowledges that his brother Jay is all up in his head, but Jimmy says he's going to bust Gunther's ass, and then at WrestleMania, Jay is going to do it too. As he starts to walk away from this interview, he approaches, he's going through the hallway, and he walks up on Miz and Mello, who are kind of mocking him. Miz says it's funny how suddenly, Jimmy's a tough guy after spending his whole career being the other Uso. Miz calls them career sidekicks. He says neither of them are going to beat Gunther. And then Mello said something about being like, you're talking on the outside, how can you even get in? I don't know. I didn't write it down. Mello's a clown.
Yeah, he's talking about being like outside a club. He says you do a
Yeah.
lot of talking outside, but you can't even get into the building.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Miz says neither of them are going to know what it's like to carry the company like he has. He lists off his accolades. And he's like, and if you ever slap me like that, you would still be on the ground. And Jimmy kind of rears back, and Miz just ducks for his life. And Jimmy's like, hey, man, well, I got a match on Monday. Why don't I go to Nick Aldis and make a match for tonight?
Go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say we get that match later on tonight.
Yeah, I was so happy last week that Miz and Mello weren't together, and then they're back together this week.
Yeah. I love it.
Hopefully, this leads to Mello being like, you know what? You gave me an idea. Maybe tag is the first way to go, and then Trick beats the shit out of the Miz. Then, okay. Fine.
I can live with that,
yeah. But
Miz,
get Mello the hell away from Miz. And that's a Miz fan. I like the Miz, but keep them.
Yeah, you must like to be miserable.
Yeah. So we come back from commercial. We get the recap of Fatu's attack. We see Jacob walking in the back. Solo and Tama Tonga approach him. Solo yells at him.
Yeah.
He's like, what the hell was that out there? Going out there by yourself, not mentioning anything to me or Tama? And Jacob says, I don't have to say anything to you. Matter of fact, did you and Tama say anything to me about coming out last week?
Yep.
And Tama says, but Jacob, and Jacob goes, but Jacob nothing, man.
Yes.
Solo tells Jacob to lower his tone when he talks to them. And Jacob says, okay, well, let me make this very clear to the two of you. I will be the last man standing, so y'all better get it in where you fit in. Because the U.S. title, I'm bringing that back to the family. And I'm going to do it with, he looks at Tama, or without, looks at Solo. You know what I mean? Ooh.
I thought that was very telling.
Ooh.
With
Ooh.
or without you.
Oh, yeah.
I have cold chills from saying that. It was so intense.
Yeah.
And do you remember the Hurricane back in the day?
I mean, of course. Stand up.
You remember how Hurricane used to say, what's up with that?
What's up with that? Yeah.
That's what this reminded me of. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was on purpose, but I feel like that's going to be Jacob's new tagline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a thing, and that's going to turn him into a baby face.
Yeah, this is a great little piece of, business right here.
Yep. I liked it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, SummerSlam. People thought WrestleMania, SummerSlam. We're getting Jacob and Solo for sure. And then we get, what a great video package here. What an awesome video package.
Yep.
We get a video package with Naomi. She says she's always been the woman to do the right thing. She asked Bianca what makes her think the attack on Jay was anything other than the right thing. What really breaks her heart is all that she's sacrificed and given. After all that, she's made out to be the bad. After all that, she's made out to be the bad one. How does Jade coming out of nowhere take Naomi's place with Bianca? She asked Bianca, who inspired you? Who inspired all the women for the last decade? Who's had your back since day one? Not Jade. Naomi says when she's done being the third wheel, being too nice, being underappreciated, she advises Jade, if she's going to stay in Naomi's way, to proceed with caution. What an awesome video package. She's been doing such a good job as a heel.
Yep.
her and Bianca did interviews right before the Rumble or Elimination Chamber, talking about going heel. And I remember Naomi saying, if I'm going heel, I'm going in 100%. Like, we're getting dirty, we're getting nasty, and I feel like she is just throwing it all out there in the best of ways. You know what I'm saying?
And I like that she just proceed with caution because that's her attire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the callback to Owen Hart, and I fucking love it.
Oh, yeah.
You remember when that was his gear?
Yeah, when he was with the Nation.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. So after the video package, we see Jay with Nick Aldis. She asks where she's irate. She's trying to find out where Naomi is. She's been trying to get her hands on her all week. She says when I see her, it's on site. I feel like 5 people have said that recently.
Yep.
And Aldis is like, dude, nobody's seen her. I don't even think she's here. So
right.
She leaves his office and she runs into Michin and B-Fab, and both of them start trashing Naomi and was like, hey, like, whoop her ass when you see her. What she did to you is trash. She deserves it. And just pretty much told Jay, we're on your side. Naomi's trash.
They had her back pretty much.
Yeah.
And then Michin was like, and I'm going to go whoop Charlotte's ass because she's trash.
Damn straight.
Yeah. Man, after this, we get another one of these cryptic promos that you can only really expect to be Aleister Black. And I love how...
you were salivating over this.
Oh, man. I was so hyped. And we're about halfway through the show at this point, and then I see this promo, and I'm like, I don't care what fucking time it is. I'm hyped now. I can run through a wall. And each week you just get a little bit more of an Easter egg. You know, the first week it was the 4, and you remember that they were in Chapter 4. Last week, I'm trying to think it was. I think it was like the thing over the face. But this week, you get the candle, which was a big part of his entrance.
Like the silhouette of him. And it's clearly black. Yeah.
I am so hyped.
Yeah.
After this, we get Michin making her way to the ring. She's getting ready to have a match, and she just gets blindsided by Naomi.
Naomi beats the brakes off these girls.
Oh, big time. And it was good to see a good heel attack out of her.
Yeah.
She attacks both Michin and B-Fab, just absolutely unhinged. Jade sprints down to make the save. Naomi runs. She hops the barricade, heads out through the crowd. And as Jade goes to exit back up the ramp, Charlotte's music hits. And what an interaction that was.
This is the second
what a
time
stare down.
You remember when Triple H was like showing Jade all the shows? Her and Charlotte had a stare down.
That's a very good call. I didn't remember it until you said it, but I do now.
Yeah.
Wow, great callback.
Yeah.
Whew, planting seeds, baby.
That's going to be a hell of a WrestleMania. Just imagine, next year's Mania could be Rhea, Bianca 101, and Jade and Charlotte. Ooh.
That's unreal.
Ooh.
That's great stuff.
Uh-huh.
So after this, Michin goes through the match. She's in a bit of a rough shape, but she hangs in there.
Yeah.
She says to start the match. Charlotte just drops her with a boot immediately. But Michin gets back in and she hits a tornado DDT. We get some good back and forth between these two a few times throughout the match. Michin hits a huge power bomb. Man, she hit an awesome scorpion kick and running knee combo. My lord.
Yeah.
Best scorpion kick we've seen in a minute. Charlotte goes for the big boot. Michin kind of moves out of the way. Charlotte gets her leg caught on the top rope. Michin hits a backdrop. Another series of reversals. I thought this was one of Michin's best matches she's had.
Yeah.
And, shout out to Charlotte, elevating people. Good series of reversals. Michin finally hits the eat defeat. Charlotte gets the foot on the rope at 2. Charlotte rolls out of the ring. Michin chases her out. She kind of goes to, punt her and pin her against the steps, but Charlotte moves. Michin kicks the steps. Charlotte immediately capitalizes, attacks the leg a few times, locks in that figure 8. And that's the match. Good showing. You knew Charlotte had to win, but Michin looked good.
Yeah.
I thought.
So Michin,
despite being beaten down.
Michin is the best definition of like what nothing drives me crazier than people losing and people on be like, oh, they're getting buried, they're getting buried. Michin loses all the damn time, but guess what? It doesn't bury her. If anything, it makes her look better. You know?
Yep.
And that's kind of I hate, there's no bigger pet peeve than one thing not going away a fan wants and they start screaming about the wrestler being buried. Like,
Yeah.
there's no more overused word in the wrestling language than buried. Yeah.
Oh man, drives me berserk.
Hate it. Yeah.
And as soon as this match ends, send the camera out back. We got Jackie Redmond again, and she's with Tiffany Stratton.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how Jackie kept it real. She's like, look, people are talking. Charlotte came in pretty hot at you last week. Tiffany's like, yeah, okay, people talk. Charlotte loves to hear herself talk. 10 years into the business, and she's still so insecure she can't let a rookie get a word out. Good for Tiffany going off. She said last week she learned that walking to WrestleMania, she's not the one with something to lose. If she loses at WrestleMania, whatever, man. She loses to a legend, but she's, I'm still 25 years old. If Charlotte loses, she uses all of Charlotte's words against her. Then Charlotte loses to an undeserving, delusional, unoriginal, backflip doing, blonde hair having little girl. And she looks at Jackie. She's like, did I get it all, Jackie? And I fucking loved that. I thought it was awesome. Tiffany says she can't wait to hear Ann still at WrestleMania. And then maybe she'll shut Charlotte up for the sake of literally everybody. She says what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and she hopes that includes Charlotte's massive ego.
Damn. Yeah, Tiffany needed this because Charlotte wiped the damn floor with her last week. And there is a little bit of like, okay, you did better, but it wasn't like against somebody, it was by yourself. But I do like how they wrote in the like, well, if she loses to me, it's kind of the thing Jericho always talked about. You want to prop your opponent up because if you just bash them, then you didn't beat anybody worth beating.
Yep.
Like, so that's pretty much what Tiffany says. Hey, you ran me to the ground, so guess what? If you beat me, you should have beat me. So no props. You get no props. Yep. So yeah, I like that. I liked it. You know what I thought would be cool? If they had Charlotte watching this promo from the ring, so it kind of bounced back and forth a little bit. That would have been cool. Yeah.
Producer Tyler today, I like it.
Look at me, using the little brain I got up in there. So then we get the pay-per-view level match on Smackdown: Randall Keith Orton versus Drew McIntyre. So, Matt, during the match, Drew clears off the announce table. He goes for a backdrop, but Randy reverses it into a backdrop onto the table. Orton hits the power slam and the draping D. I love Randy Orton's scoop slam.
Man, that power slam off the ropes. There's only one other person in the conversation when it comes to the power slam. Do you know who it is? I know you know who it is, but you might not get it when I put you on the spot. But they're in AEW. Dustin. Dustin is the only person in the conversation. Yeah. But man, is that power slam crisp.
I love when a wrestler just has something that, like a basic move that they just do so much better than everyone else. Like Triple H and Batista, they both had that spine buster that just...
Yep.
Rakes. So Randy goes for the RKO. Randy goes for an RKO. Kevin Owens appears on the ramp. Randy turns. He eats a Claymore. Drew gets the win, which was the right choice. Drew needed this win, and Randy doesn't need a win at any point in his career. So Kevin pulls Randy out of the ring, tosses him into the desk. He tries to hoist him up, but Randy slips, trips Owens onto the table. Orton lines Kevin Owens up for the punt, and Kevin Owens gets the hell out of there. He does not want any at all.
Don't want none? This is not AJ Styles music. He don't want none.
Nah, he hit and run, brother. Hit and run.
Yep.
Drew should have won. It was a good match. It was a good SmackDown match.
Yep.
And Drew needed the win, so I like the way they did this.
Yep. We get another big promo after this.
I am shocked they're debuting him next week.
I think maybe teasing both of them at the same time. You got to give us one a little earlier. But I agree. I thought we were going... Well, you know what? That's a long time, though, for both of these guys to be post-Mania, because at that point, it's almost 2 months.
It's Triple H.
But as I say that, man, who's a good example? Like Tensai. There were some people back when you and I were in our early teens, maybe that 10 to 12 and 14 range.
I feel like Carlito
they would tease guys forever.
Yeah, I feel like we were seeing those Carlito vignettes for like 3 months.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then do you remember when Orton was on his way up and then he got hurt, so they were doing like the backstage with him? So as I say that, I realize you're right. It is a Triple H era. And they're going to do it with Alistair. But I wonder if this, thrusts Phoenix into that U.S. Championship match.
That would be nuts. And they let him keep his name.
Yeah.
Which again,
fuck yeah.
Which again is curious of why they didn't let Ricky keep his name.
I think Ricky chose.
I know he had he had something to do with it, but still, I was shocked that I was like, okay, they're keeping full on Ray Phoenix, keeping the whole thing. I'm stoked. Yeah. That makes me a lot more excited for SmackDown next week. So,
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Ricky Starks is his real name too. So
that's true.
I mean, he had full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it might be a bit of a rush, but maybe that's why they're doing it, because he's going to take the top off of a ladder match. Are you kidding me? Ray Phoenix adds stars to that match.
Who do you want to see him wrestle week 1?
Oh, fuck. I think Carmelo Hayes would be a really good matchup and a heel to beat the shit out of. I think that their styles would be fantastic together. I could also see it being The Miz.
That's my
how about you? Those are the first 2 guys that come to my mind.
Because Miz is going to talk some shit, and then he's going to sell his ass off.
Yep.
So.
And another reason I say that? They backdoor stuff a lot. Mm-hmm. They will put someone in one segment, and immediately after, someone else, and they end up feuding. And the fact that Miz is the next match, I kind of feel like it's going to happen.
Yep.
But hey, we'll see.
Yep.
So after this, like I said, we get the Miz's bitch ass, versus Big Jim. Miz goes for the skull crushing finale. Jimmy sits out, rolls Miz up. Miz reverses that. He hits the little Miz DDT for 2. Miz hits them stupid Miz kicks. Jimmy ducks the last one, and then Miz hit like the Daniel Bryan kind of knee. So, kind of an O to DB twice right there.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's where those kicks are from. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Miz broke out a couple new moves out of the repertoire tonight, which I liked. And then he goes for a springboard, eats a super kick. Big Jim hits a Uso splash, gets the win. After the match, man, this cracked me up. He hops onto the announce table, and he keeps reaching for Tessator's headset, and Tess is like, dude, there's one right here. Yeah. Man, he wanted his headset.
Yeah.
This was a little rough because he was post-match.
Yeah.
It was along the lines of, he said he was coming for Gunther's ass on Monday. He'll no longer be the ring general. He's going to be Private Gunther, and he's going to salute Big Jim.
That's right.
Cracked me up. After this, we get a very happy Drew McIntyre. He's working his way through the back. Yeah, finally. So he's working his way through the back. He knows he's going to go out for some pints after. He runs into Louis Capaldi, the UK zone. They have a little moment, and then he runs into Jackie Redmond. She congratulates him on the victory, asks for his thoughts on the victory and everything that happened. And he's like, look, when people stay out of my business and no one gets involved, I win. And he's like, I called out Priest last week. I still haven't seen him. He doesn't have the balls.
Peacock.
So I'm going to go out on the... Yep.
Peacock.
I'm going to... He's like, I'm going to go out on the town. We're going to have some beers. He talks about how he's going to, hang out with Louis Capaldi. And so where she's set up is pretty much right by the exit of the arena. He gets someone's interview. He goes out the door. Great camera work. Priest is on the other side of that door. And we see it before he does.
Yep.
And, man, he is scathing. They kind of brawl through the parking lot a little bit. Priest ends up hitting the south of heaven on the windshield of this car.
Yeah, he does.
And as he leaves, he says, "Rest in peace, jackass." I love this.
Did you hear Drew when Punk was walking by?
Not when Punk was walking by, but as Drew is, feeling the effects of this, we see Punk walking up with his security detail. And Punk definitely enjoys what he sees, but I didn't hear Drew.
So right before it shows Punk walking by, which these two assholes talked about, Drew, as loud as he can, right when he knows the camera is near him, starts yelling about how he got glass in his eye. And then it instantly goes to Punk. And I was like, oh, you sons of bitches. I know what you did there.
Yep. Insert Jungle Boy joke.
Which I'll give Drew credit because, I think there might be some issues there between him and Punk. So
I didn't put that together. That's kind of funny.
I like that he still is like, well, you know what? Even if I don't like him, he is on my team. So here's one for you. An alley-oop, Oh, man. Yep. And you could tell Punk was doing everything he could not to smile because he heard it. And he's
100%.
Yeah. So then we get the main event segment, and boy, I am conflicted. So Nick Aldis is in the ring. He says we have a contract to sign, and out comes Roman Reigns. Crowd sings a song. Yeah. Put your ones up. Paul Heyman puts it. I love that they are keeping up with this. With Paul Heyman putting Roman's chair at the head of the table.
That fucking cracked me up.
He did it with Drew. Did it with Finn. Oh man. So both Paul Heyman and the crowd are singing. They're just serenading Roman.
Oh yeah.
So he calls himself the biggest star on the planet.
It's weird.
Weird.
Because I feel like someone else calls himself the biggest star on the planet. Interesting choice of words.
He says, I'm here for 2 reasons. To be acknowledged, check, and to sign a contract. Check, so he signs the contract, and Roman is just sucking all this in.
Oh man, he is eating it alive.
He is. He looks like Roman of old in this. Just chest out, smile on his face. Oh boy, he's just eating it up. And then, whoa! Seth Rollins hits the ring. So the crowd starts singing Seth's song, and he gets right in Paul Heyman's face.
Oh my god, that cracks me up.
Right in Paul's face. Seth asks Roman why he's such in a hurry. He says, we got so much history here. We put the Undertaker through the announce table here. Says they've been through a lot. They've accomplished their mission. Roman says, there is no we. And Roman is, you can just tell, he still hates Seth so much.
Oh, yeah.
Seth's like, dude, we accomplished our mission. Roman, instant. There ain't no we. There ain't no we. What are you talking about? Seth says, Seth has been there, and he been here, and he's done all the work. Jesus, I can't talk this morning. Roman lists what he's brought to the company and asks Seth what he's done. Seth says Roman's what?
Sorry, I was I think it was tough to So Roman is like listing the things that he did. He's like, look, I got us on Netflix. I did this. I did that. And he's like, Seth, what did you do?
Yeah.
And then Seth is like, Roman, you've got this me attitude, and that's why that's why I keep screwing you over.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I was watching this and typing and not looking at what I typed. I'm sorry.
It's good. Because, Roman's just, I got us on Netflix. I got us this contract. I did this. And Seth's like, dude, it's always you. This is why I keep screwing you over. This is why I keep putting it to you. Let's see. Now I lost my point. Okay, here we go. Seth complains that Roman aligned with Punk at War Games and didn't let Seth finish him at Madison Square Garden. And now Seth has to clean up Roman's mess as always. So Seth signs the contract. And out comes CM Punk. Cult of Personality hits. Punk says he's here to chew bubblegum and sign a contract, and he's all out of bubblegum.
Yep.
He's so corny. You can tell how much older he is than everybody else. I'm here to chew some bubblegum and sign a contract. I don't got no bubblegum. Punk is reading through the contract and Roman is so offended by this. Oh my God, Roman! He does
not have the time.
Believe that Seth is Punk's making him sit there, and he tells him, he's like, "Let's go, dude. This is live TV."
Page 4, clause 5. Sign the fucking contract.
Page 4. And he's just giving it to Punk. He's like, let's go, dude. Let's go. This is live TV. Page 4. Come on. Roman tells the wise man to smarten Punk up already. So Heyman comes over. He says he knows what Punk's looking for, and it's in there. He says this match is closing out WrestleMania. Heyman says Punk's dream of main eventing WrestleMania is coming true. He hugs Punk, kisses his head. Seth looked
seething.
Seth looked like me, because I'm going to get to it, but boy, did I look like Seth at this point. Roman's laughing his ass off. Seth tells Punk to wipe the tears away. And tells Roman to stop laughing. He says Punk doesn't deserve it. Punk doesn't deserve WrestleMania. He blames Roman and Heyman. He says the main event's sacred. You don't deserve it. This is your guys' fault. And he's irate. Seth is losing his damn mind at this point.
Yep. Oh, he's so pissed.
And Seth says the only thing that he cares more about than main eventing WrestleMania is making sure Punk doesn't main event WrestleMania.
Right.
So Punk thanks London, thanks Chicago, Louisville, the WWE Universe for chanting for him for 10 years. And Roman says, there's only one person you got to thank, and it's your tribal chief.
Did you see Heyman in the background here? Mm-hmm. Heyman's just like...
Yeah.
Shaking his head.
And something that we missed was when Paul Heyman tells him, like, hey, you guys are main eventing, Roman says, how do you word it? He goes, favor delivered. You know?
Right.
Like, Roman's like, there's your favor. You got what you wanted. You happy. And Roman's like, you're done with my wise man. We gave you your favor, you know?
Right.
So he tells Punk, he says, the only person you need to thank is me. Punk drops to a knee, says, thank you, my tribal chief, the holder of the Ulafala, the head of the table, gets a little smirk, the big dog.
The big dog.
Oh, Roman didn't like that one.
Nope.
Thank you for allowing a kid from Chicago to be graced with your presence. He stands up, looks at Roman, looks at Paul Heyman, and said, but that's not the favor that he's owed, and just walks off. And boy, instantly Roman's face is like, excuse me?
Yep.
Yeah. And
so they ran long.
They did run long, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, of course they did. It's Roman, Seth, and Punk. You know?
No, maniacs.
Here's the thing. This was a great segment. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I am going to be livid if this main event's night one of WrestleMania. And
they announced it is.
I know. And I'm hoping, just a slim chance that Seth screws this up. Because in no world should this main event over Rhea, Io, and Bianca. And this isn't even like, you hear so many people that's just I truly do believe, like, whichever match has the biggest oomph should main event. And frankly, I have felt like the last few years they've made the right calls. I don't think this should main event. I think it would make it more interesting if Seth stops it for main eventing. And I think Io, Bianca, and Rhea deserve to main event night one.
I didn't even think about that being an option.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. Something about this specifically main eventing bothers me. Like last year's bothered me, but what else are you going to do? It's The Rock. Putting the fucking Rock in the mid card or even opening match of WrestleMania. They kind of had their hands tied.
100%.
And I feel like, especially with Punk's story of like wanting to main event, kind of like Cody wanted the title, I feel like just a random triple threat is not like finishing that story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, so your main event was just a random triple threat with Roman and Seth because none of you guys had anything else going on? No, it should be a world title match, night 2, like, you know what I'm saying? So,
do you think the favor has anything to do with that? What do you think the favor is now?
I have no idea. Maybe help him win?
It could be that. It could be being in Punk's corner, which I think might be the obvious and safe choice. I wonder if the favor is making this a number one contenders match to join the Cody and Cena match. But if that's the case, then this shouldn't main event.
Right.
Because it takes the shine off of what I just suggested. So I've been kind of battling in my brain what I think. I think I agree. I kind of wish this match wasn't the main event, but that was the favor.
Right.
Because then Punk would have to earn it.
Right.
I just feel like there's something really fishy going on here. And I feel like Roman was way too happy to let Punk have a moment with Heyman. I don't know, man. I just don't trust Heyman here at all.
I felt like Roman was okay with it because it was on Roman's terms. Roman chose the favor. Okay, we're done. What harm is it? I'm the main event. I should be in the main event anyway.
Right.
So what's the harm? Here you go. Here's your favor. Shoo. You know what
Star
I'm saying?
power, my lord.
And Roman was great in this. Because we have seen a tendency of sometimes, like last year, when you have somebody like The Rock, Roman can fade in the background sometimes. And or like get smaller. And Roman shined in this segment, dude. He's the
big dog.
He was the best part of this segment. I loved the beginning and the end of this show. It reminded me of GM mode on WWE. You want the best 2 segments to be your opening and closing segments, and that's what they did tonight. Like I said, I'm gonna be pissed if this is the main event, because I don't think it deserves it, and I think that this is kind of a cop-out way to finish Punk's story in this situation. So,
I'm gonna disagree on the first point. I think there's star power. They're the biggest stars on the show. But I 100% agree with the second part of what you said, and I do think it's a cop-out.
Star power,
to get Punk.
But build and everything else, no. Is more of what I'm saying. Star power, I mean, of course. It's Roman, Punk, and Seth, you know? But, like, with the way they built these, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the build's been bad, and I'm not saying this isn't a big match. I just feel like it's a feeling thing. I feel like Rhea, Bianca, and Io should be the main event. So, but
I don't know. I can't wait for this.
Oh man,
there's so many twists and turns ahead too. This is so far from done.
It's interesting because we really hammered in how last week's shows were really not good. And I feel like this week's shows overall were all pretty damn good. I mean, they weren't great, but
a lot better.
Big step up on all 3 shows. So
I feel like Heyman's going to turn on both of them.
Imagine if Heyman turns on both and goes with Seth.
I don't remember how many shows ago I said it, but I don't know, but I was like, I feel like Seth needs a heel turn. Wouldn't that be fucking crazy if he ends up with Heyman?
Oh my god.
Or what if...
I can see it, because I think they present Seth as a better talker than he is. Like, he's not a bad promo, but I don't think Seth is as good as Seth or WWE thinks he is. So
I think he's so much better as a heel. I really do. I always have.
The issue is every time he goes heel, then people start loving him, and they got
exactly. Yeah. And they're in that vicious cycle with him. They really are, and they always have been.
Yeah.
But man, also like that house show I sat front row. He was the world champion at the time, and my God, did he did all the things that you love a world champ to do. He took so much time after his match to hang out with everybody after, and I super appreciated that. But he's so much cooler as a bad guy.
No.
Man, I will never, ever forget his run through the mid-teens.
With the
and a little bit after that, I had every single one of his t-shirts he came out with.
Yeah.
I wore that, what was it, Rebuild, Redesign, Reclaim. I wore the hell out of that shirt.
I remember when he came running out to the ring at WrestleMania with that Money in the Bank briefcase. I could not believe that shit was happening.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And then his return it was some pay-per-view in the late spring, early summer. It was a June or July pay-per-view when he returned.
Yeah.
And the main event. Was it Moxley or someone had won the main event, or was it Roman? And he came back?
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, but then they fucked that up because they instantly tried to turn him heel right after a major comeback like that, But no, Seth is great. Seth has always been great. I do think it would be hysterical to have Heyman turn on both Punk and Roman and go with Seth.
It's just stuck in the back of my head.
Yeah.
Because Heyman's a fucking sleazeball.
I heard Eric. I haven't watched it yet. But I saw a little thing on his podcast. He was talking Bischoff. He was talking about Rock and Cena's third man, kind of the whole NWO thing. And he brought up a good point. He said this isn't 1996, and he said, "What if their third man was Becky?" Yeah.
Dude, I would be so pissed.
That would be awesome. What do you mean?
Oh, man, I love Becky.
Good.
I love her.
I know, but hey, who stood in the ring with The Rock at Fox?
Fucking hell.
Yeah, at that Fox debut. Who was in there? Rock Bottom and Baron Corbin with The Rock. Yeah.
I don't know if people can hate her. Granted, I know it happened with Cena. But they've tried to turn her heel. It does not work. Oh, she would have to do something really sleazy.
Imagine this. Cena beats Cody. Cody's out there the next night. His wife, they're, thanking everybody. Cena comes out, starts mocking Cody. Brandy cuts in his face, and Becky just comes out of nowhere and beats the dog shit out of Brandy in front of Cody. While Cena and Rock are making Cody watch. Real Beth Phoenix style.
Shit.
Oh. GM Tyler's in the damn building. That's what I'm saying. All right. Now I'm going to leave you with that to think about through your whole work shift.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for ruining my day, you son of a bitch.
So that is this week's SmackDown review. Much more enjoyable than last week's, even though I think last week was the one that shit the bed for us, so we didn't even put one out, but this one much more enjoyable. So that is it. We will see everybody. Is this the last Monday?
I think we're back to regular timed shows. Yeah.
No, I think this next one's the last one.
Is there? Let me take a look. God, how do we tell? What's the date?
April, beginning of April.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah, they're still overseas.
Yeah, one more.
They're going back to Glasgow?
Are they?
Interesting. That's what it says.
All right, so we will see everyone Monday night. The last Monday Night Raw review, at least till the next time they do the European tour. But I'm enjoying these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the overseas crowds.
Yeah. All right, well, we will see everybody then. Give us a like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell, give us that little ding, 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 so you know when we post. Until then, we will see everybody later. Peace.